Welcome to the deep dive. Ready for a delicious journey? We're taking a deep dive into what it takes to become a chocolatier, just for you. I always thought it was all about crafting those fancy chocolates you see in shop windows.
Oh, it's way more than that.
The research really surprised me.
Really?
Yeah, it highlighted this whole side of sensory evaluation, like really understanding the chocolate itself.
Ah, that makes sense, though. It's essential for a chocolatier.
So what does that actually involve? I mean, sensory evaluation sounds a bit like something you'd do in a lab, not a kitchen.
Picture this. You've got this ground chocolate paste, right?
Yeah.
And you're examining it closely, feeling its texture, seeing how it reflects light, and, yeah, even tasting it.
Pasting it, really?
Absolutely. A good chocolatier can pick up on the slightest hints of fruitiness, bitterness, or anything else just from tasting the paste.
I never realized there were so many nuances to just the base ingredient. Why is that sensory skill so important?
Chocolate is a bit, well, let's just say it's got a mind of its own.
Temperamental.
Exactly. Even tiny changes in temperature, humidity, even where the beans come from, can completely change how the chocolate turns out.
So the chocolatier needs to be able to adjust based on all those factors just from examining the chocolate paste.
That's what makes a great chocolatier. They can tell just by looking at it, touching it, tasting it. It's how they ensure consistency in every batch.
So they're like chocolate whisperers. They can understand its language.
It's like a chef knowing exactly how to season a dish just by tasting it. They use their senses to create something amazing.
And I'm guessing that's even before we get to the whole tempering process and all that artistry.
Exactly. That comes later. First, you have to be able to judge the chocolate itself. You need to understand its personality before you can even think about turning it into something delicious.
Okay, so we've got this whole sensory evaluation thing down, but how does someone actually become a chocolatier? Like, where do you even begin?
Well, it usually starts with an apprenticeship.
Ah, so like the old school way of learning a trade.
Exactly. You typically start in a larger chocolate shop, learning the basics from more experienced chocolatiers.
Lots of like chopping chocolate and cleaning molds, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Tempering chocolate, too. That's a big one.
Yeah.
You got to get that perfect snap. It's all about precision and practice.
Sounds like you really have to pay your dues in those early days.
It's the best way to learn, though. You're immersed in it, watching, doing. It's like learning from a master craftsman.
So after you've mastered the basics, what's the next step?
Usually you'd move up to a junior chocolatier role.
And what does a junior chocolatier get to do that an apprentice doesn't?
More creative freedom, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, you start experimenting with flavors, maybe even developing your own signature style. You might also have more responsibility in the production process.
So you get to actually, like, put your own spin on things.
Precisely. It's a chance to really start making your mark in the chocolate world.
That's gotta be exciting.
It is. And eventually, with enough experience and skill, you could even become a master chocolatier.
Wow, a master chocolatier. That sounds pretty prestigious. What does it take to reach that level?
Well, talent definitely plays a role.
Like a natural knack for flavor combinations and stuff.
Exactly. Some people just have a gift for it.
Right.
But even with natural talent, you need incredible dedication.
Long hours, I imagine.
Definitely. And not every experiment is going to be a success. You have to be able to handle setbacks and keep innovating.
So you need a good dose of resilience, too.
Absolutely. The chocolate industry is always evolving. You can't just rely on the classics. You have to be willing to push boundaries, try new things, and really understand what consumers want.
So it's a mix of creativity, business sense, and just a whole lot of passion for chocolate.
That's the recipe for success as a master chocolatier. It's about crafting an experience, not just a chocolate.
I like that crafting and experience. That's a pretty sweet goal to strive for, I'd say. Speaking of striving, our research mentioned that it's not always easy being a chocolatier. There are some challenges that come with the territory, right? So it's not all like rivers of chocolate and unlimited tastings. What are some of those tougher parts of being a chocolatier?
Well, the hours can be pretty demanding.
Ah, yeah. I guess when you're running your own shop or even just working in a busy kitchen.
It's not a 9-to-5 job, that's for sure. Especially in the early stages. You're putting in the time to learn and perfect your craft.
Makes sense, you got to pay those dues.
Exactly. And it's not just the hours, it's the physical demands too. You're on your feet a lot, and things can get pretty intense, especially during peak seasons.
Yeah, I bet. Valentine's Day, Easter, all those chocolate holidays.
Oh, absolutely. Those are our Super Bowls. But all that pressure to create amazing things, meet deadlines, it can definitely take a toll. And then there's the competition.
Right, because it's not like just anyone can become a chocolatier.
There are a lot of talented people in this field. all vying for customers' recognition.
So how do you stand out? Besides, making incredible chocolate.
Networking is huge.
Okay, so going to industry events, meeting other chocolatiers.
Exactly. Building relationships with suppliers, potential mentors. It's all about making those connections. And these days, having a strong online presence is essential.
Oh, right, because you've got to have those Instagram-worthy chocolate creations?
Exactly. People need to see your work, your style, your passion. That's how you build a following and attract customers.
It's like having an online portfolio of your best chocolate work.
It's becoming more and more important, for sure. And that's where platforms like RoleCatcher can be really valuable.
Oh, right, because they have that whole AI resume thing,
Yeah,
right?
precisely. They can help you tailor your resume and online presence to stand out in a crowded market.
Which is crucial in a competitive field like this.
Absolutely. It's about showcasing those unique skills, that passion you have. And RoleCatcher can help with that.
It's like having a secret weapon in your chocolate box. Well, this has been fascinating. We've gone from tasting chocolate paste to building an online brand who knew there was so much to becoming a chocolatier.
It's definitely a journey.
But it sounds like a delicious one. Any final thoughts for aspiring chocolatiers out there?
Don't be afraid to experiment. Try new things, push your boundaries, and most importantly, have fun. Chocolate is meant to be enjoyed, so let that passion shine through.
That's great advice. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of chocolatiers. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a sudden craving for something chocolatey.